Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
The
Alright.
Geek Den presents the Midnight Matinee.
Dun, dun, dun.
We'll add music later.
Like, that's the intro.
Yeah.
I think it's downbite what Craig just did. Just do that every time.
Yeah. Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
The sunshine's back,
Hey,
and we've decided to make this a regular occurrence.
yay!
So why not? Welcome. You're
Thank
official.
you.
One of us. One of us. All right.
Thank you.
The first movie on the agenda, She Who Must Burn. Craig, this was your idea, so you kick
was.
us off.
I mean, I enjoyed it for what I was, but I kind of knew what to expect after reading the description. It was going to be a little off. I didn't realize it was going to be that off. Like that movie is. I watch horror to like escape reality. It's what I've always done, and that movie's kind of like too real because you know the circumstances are extreme, but there's nothing saying it couldn't happen.
It does happen.
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel like it does happen.
It definitely happens.
Well, no.
in
I
parts
mean,
of the
like,
world, for sure.
you know, like burning at the stake, you know, because
Oh.
that's essentially what we're talking about. But
Like a-
you know,
Maybe not
the other
necessarily
stuff,
burning at
that's
the stake,
exactly
but
what I mean.
definitely
Like,
do kill, like,
yeah, it's too real, you know.
extreme.
The build up for that, like having to watch everything else just for that's kind of a strange experience.
Extreme is the word.
Yeah.
There's very little in the way of a happy ending. There is no catharsis to it.
There's no happy ending at all. Like,
Yeah.
Well, you got there is like a couple of the chicks got away. They got out.
yeah,
And
yeah.
that's the happiest thing that happens through all of it.
Yeah.
yeah.
If
It's
you were
true, but
the
like,
main
holy
character,
fuck.
that's what you followed from the start. Semi-happy ending. But otherwise, yeah, no, it's just dark and bleak and crappy and the worst possible timeline to be in.
Right. Yeah.
I didn't think about the happy part. I was like, she fucking burned.
I forgot
That's
about
not happy.
all that because I was
Yeah.
Angry, right?
horror.
It's a movie that
people
makes you
think about-
angry.
When people think about horror, you think about getting scared. You think about jump scares. You think about slashers. You think about ghosts. This is horror in the sense that it just pisses you off from beginning to end.
Yeah.
And it's mental torture because it's
Yeah.
real.
Yeah.
It like and I believe I made the comment when we were watching it, like in certain parts of this country, this would be considered a documentary.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
That's actually 100% accurate. As far as the description of like, would this be a documentary? There are 100% are areas in our country that there are people that would be perfectly okay with the outcome of this film. Like, well, yeah, that's how it should go.
Yeah, well,
Right.
that's what I mean. Like the outcome is extreme, but like if you don't think there's people at like people that run abortion clinics, if they don't think there's people like outside their houses 24/7, you're wrong. You know what I mean?
Oh,
It
it
happens all the
definitely
time.
happens.
It still happens.
So
And
I
you didn't-
live in Nevada. We have abortion clinics here.
Yeah.
And I myself have visited one. So, and I'm not ashamed of going there, but the
And you
doctor
shouldn't be.
literally plays on the TV over and over again the segment that they did about him on the news. And in there, he talks about how to escape, where to go hide because of all the threats and stuff that he gets.
No.
in his home. Like, so that is truly so real on the protesting. Like, going into the clinic is crazy. Like,
Oh,
you
yeah.
literally need escorts.
Right.
Fucking horrible experience.
Yeah, whoever created this had to have had some type of experience with this, because it was so real, but it was well done in that way. You know what I mean? Like, you really feel like for every character, you know who to love, you know who to hate, and then it just kind of all goes away.
Right. But like, fuck, man. This is a heavy one. Like,
Yeah.
It is.
I was expecting something about witches. No.
I did too. When I heard the title, I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be about witches. This is gonna be badass." And then, no.
Not even close. Like, holy shit. I can't, like, I don't even remember character names. I just remember I hated everybody.
I remember the mole.
The mole.
The mole on the dude that we all hated.
Oh,
He has a bowl
that
cut.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard him.
I was trying to look up the director and writer. Director and writer, Larry Kent.
Larry Kent. What have you
Larry
been through,
Kent.
my
I
friend?
don't know. Yeah, seriously, exactly that.
Like, was this your therapy tool? Like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, that guy. I think.
Hey, all right. So based off of what you saw, and in particular, just his name, how old do you think this guy is?
The director?
Yeah, if you were just to guess. I mean, especially because, I mean, let's say that this movie came out in 2015. It was very topical. I mean, because the fact is, like, there was a bunch of, like, even after the Supreme Court just recently threw it back to the states to decide whether or not the shit was legal or whatever. The thing is, there were people screaming from the fucking rooftops pre-2016 that if Trump got office and if he got Supreme Court picks, this was going to be the first thing on the agenda.
Yeah.
This was going to be the outcome.
Yeah.
So based on that, this movie came out in 2015, and the guy that directed it, especially let's call it a semi-topical film, even though it is a dark and depressing extreme version of topics.
Yeah.
So just off the top of your head, how old do you think the director or writer was?
I'm gonna guess
Yeah.
40s. Like,
Yeah, I was gonna say
Like
40s.
Like mid 40s.
Mid-40s, because I mean that's something that would apply to the good majority of us or anybody that would watch this and be like, "This is not the American I grew up in." This guy was born in 33.
Holy shit.
Wow.
Oh my god.
In Johannesburg, South Africa.
Holy shit.
Which I'll be
So he's
honest with you,
79 years old.
yeah.
Man.
Holy fuck.
I didn't expect that.
No, I mean, honestly, I wouldn't have brought it up. Normally, it's just that is such a.
And he's from South Africa, you said?
He is from South Africa, which leads. I am wondering whether or not he was also.
That might be where the connection lies then, because that kind of
Right.
shit happens in South Africa, like everywhere.
Yeah.
Was he also seeing something happening that he did not like?
That's what I'm saying.
Could,
like,
yeah.
They could have, especially in times of apartheid and shit. Depends
Right.
how long he was there. Holy hell.
That's
That's kind of
Justified
shocking.
was on the geek then. This is new.
It doesn't put anything in a new light specifically, but it does. Like that's not something I would have expected. Even weirder is the number of connections you could make from that.
Yeah.
We don't have them here to ask, but my thoughts are probably very. It has to have something to do with growing up and looking at shit that just wasn't in his.
Well,
opinion,
hell,
right.
even if he's been here since the 40s, like, still, just in that amount of time, he's seen
Yeah.
the implementation of Roe versus Wade and the overturning of it.
Oh
Yeah.
shit, he was old enough to understand the end of World War II.
Right.
He was old enough, like when it happened, he was old enough to understand what happened.
And it
Like,
also
how many
shows
apps-
how long this has been going on too, because
Yeah.
it can't just be something he saw recently, in 2015. So
I'm gonna chalk this up to a dude who was seeing human rights getting fucked with and not liking it.
Right.
I mean, because that movie
Right.
definitely does not.
Yeah.
It, once again,
Right.
it's very heavy-handed. It definitely doesn't pull any punches. It lets you know exactly what it means from the.
He knows exactly what the fuck he's talking about, too.
Well, so even back to the point, like look at the name of the movie.
Yeah.
He didn't telegraph anything. Like nothing was hidden. You knew how it was going to end, and you even knew
Yeah.
who it would be. You know, within the
Yeah.
first 20 minutes, when you first meet her, you're like, oh, she's a
Bye.
Christmas
But like it just trigger warning for everybody who goes to see this movie because it's just like holy, it's gonna fuck with you.
It's not easy to watch at all.
No.
Yeah, it's
No,
not
God,
your
maybe
average
just, like, once-
horror. Like, you know, I always wait for slow burns for their buildup, and I love the buildup. You know, I love the outcome, but man, it was a rough watch to like see the
Just
outcome in the end.
Angry from beginning to end.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
from the very first scene, you're just pissed off.
Yeah.
And it's like I was ready to turn it off, and we're in a group watch.
right?
I was like,
thought about it,
I
Dom.
want to turn this off.
I couldn't. I don't know why, but I
You
just
can't turn it
couldn't.
off. Yeah.
Yeah, like I didn't even want to. I'm like, I want to see how this plays out. Like, yeah, I'm fucking pissed off, but I really,
If
I know she's gonna burn, but I want to see what
Is there any
happens.
bonus side to her burning? There is not.
Yeah, no.
Well, it's
if
like we're also triggered that way for us.
if we had watched this separately, I would have turned it off after like 5 minutes. Because
Yeah.
like
I still
Like,
don't
there's
think I
no-
would.
I would have. I know there's no question in my mind.
I don't know if it's because I can relate to a part of it, like with the whole like
That's why I would
rights
turn it
and
off.
women's like health and stuff. I wanted to see her win in the end, but
Yeah.
I mean, obviously she burns, and I knew that was coming, but I was like, maybe somebody else burned. I don't know. I don't think I would have turned it off though.
Well, I was halfway hoping when they introduced the psychotic chick who had
Yeah.
3 basically stillbirths / miscarriages and was a true believer in this creature's like, I was halfway hoping, even though I knew it wouldn't have made sense in context, especially not with the buildup, but I was halfway hoping there was going to be some kind of weird twist at the end. It was going to be her because, I mean, don't get me
She
wrong,
was off the wall.
Well, she was, but even then the character, it's like you can't watch it and not feel for her. I guess I can understand where the, I guess, psychopathy or the lack of empathy on her part came from. I sort of get it. You know, I mean, she was angry and she was like, the character was angry and looking for someone to blame.
Yeah.
And she found it. So, you know, it's, like I said, the part of me was like, I hope that there's some kind of weird twist coming and it's going to be her. Maybe they'll attempt to bomb some shit and fail and fuck themselves up. That'd be great.
Yeah.
But I also think that comes from being an American movie watcher. Like, we're so geared towards rooting for the underdog, especially in the form of movies. Like, all you want to see is a supernatural, like, invincible tank of a fucking killer get his or her.
I don't know though. There's quite a. I can't think of any examples off the top of my head, but I have seen a few horror movies where like the underdog is like, I'm waiting for that guy to just get slaughtered. You know what I mean? Like,
Want him to die.
It depends on the variety of underdog. If it's
right. It's like I cannot wait for this guy to get his and what I can't wait to see just how great it is.
I
Like,
don't know. Normally, I guess it's been coming from a decade of like, say, the 80s and or early 90s with slasher movies and even the monster movies that existed at the time. It was always a very clear and understanding setup. Like, you got Cabin in the Woods made fun of it, you know? Like, it was 100%. You had the big jock alpha guy, and then you had like go down the list until you get to the skeezy little schooner dude who doesn't take anything seriously.
Yeah.
I've always voted for the skeezy little stoner dude.
Yeah.
Like, I've always pulled for that dude. Just because wrong place, wrong time, just looking for a
we're skeezy little stoner dudes.
Do that.
Everybody's dude here. I call
thing
everybody.
though. You don't get that in this at all.
Yeah, no.
Like,
Yeah.
there is
And
none of the normal archetypes.
There's no hero. There's an attempted hero, but they can get theirs.
Well, the fact, like, there's not even a bimbo. Normally, there's a bimbo. There's no bimbo in this.
No.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
there's
just somebody's anger. Like straight, I swear, is his anger just
And you
put
feel
together
it
in a movie
the whole
Yeah.
time.
the whole time.
And I don't think, like, in the end, I know I said I love the buildup, but I don't think they got punished enough. I know it's supposed to be real and, like, you know, this
No.
is
I did
what
laugh when Dick
happened,
and
but I don't
Jack
think they got
Lightning
enough. Like, I would have loved to see them get, like, thrashed after that. You
I
know
did
what I mean?
laugh when dude got the lightning bolt in the face.
Yeah.
That was a question. Was it God's judgment raining down on them, or was it because they were in the middle of fucking Oklahoma nowhere? You know
I'm
what I
going
mean?
with option
It's like
B.
tornado alley.
I mean, they insisted
Going
there
with
was a
option
storm
B.
coming and everybody should get home.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I'd
Wasn't
imagine
it hail? It was hail,
Yeah.
right? That ended up taking him out.
Yeah,
Hail or
Yeah.
the
like,
one dude, yeah, but the other guy got hit by lightning right in the
Yeah.
forehead.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
which I mean, I guess to the question of the movie, was that an implication that it was literally God's judgment dropping on those judging?
You could definitely see that,
Right.
like that implication.
Yeah.
Because in religion, they do say everything happens with God's will.
Yeah.
I call it karma. I call it funny karma because I remember that's the only part in that entire movie where I laughed.
Yeah.
No, because
Yeah.
you're waiting to see it. You were hoping it would be bloodier and worse.
Oh,
maybe more
dude,
painful.
he deserved. Okay, it's gonna be on another episode, but in Tucker and Dale versus Evil, when dude goes through the wood chipper,
Right.
Mm.
that's what lightning bolt guy needed.
That's-
Yeah.
God, we are just out here trying to fix up our property, and these cops.
We've had a dizzy of a day.
Dude, that movie. Honestly, once again, if you like, the greatest comedies on earth are a combination, at least in my opinion, of comedy and horror, written by somebody who loves both.
Yeah, and that movie there, like I said, we'll touch on that another time, but holy shit.
I had a question at the end of the movie. Like, I don't know why this is even a question. So, you know, the guy, the one that we did not like, Mr. Bullcut, why did he look different at the end? Like, he just looked
He
at
took his
who he
glasses
just
off
killed, and then he
messed his
showed
hair
up looking different. I was like, what?
The entire movie, he looks like Zachary Quinto in season 2 of American
Yeah.
Horror
Yes,
Story.
indeed.
And at the end, like the last 5-10 minutes, he messes his hair up, takes his glasses off, totally different fucking person.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, why did he, like, what happened
didn't
between
know-
him
I
killing
thought it was
that
somebody
girl
else.
to
I thought
then?
somebody else in their group like showed up. I was like, who the fuck is that guy?
Yeah.
The first time I watched it, I thought for a second, like watching her die was going to be like his, like, awakening and being like, no, this is wrong, and like, you know, fighting for her, but no, it just kind of made him put his
He shot
war
a
piece
child
on.
through the gut. You think he's gonna feel bad about burning somebody alive?
Not at all.
No,
Well, no,
but I
both-
mean, like, when I
both were
first
right.
saw it, like his reaction to watching that girl die, like the first girl, that teenager,
Yeah.
you could have seen him do a flip there, but no, they
He
didn't.
could have, but he didn't.
Yeah.
And you saw
No.
it after she drew her last breath. As soon as she stopped crying, he just moved on about his business.
Yeah.
It messed up his hair.
That's a psychopath. That's a psychopath.
Well, I think there was the implicate. Yeah, well, no, I mean, he would have to be a complete sociopath to be able to separate himself that far based off of his own beliefs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it'd be more of an indicator of somebody who truly believes what they're doing is righteous. Like that is the correct way to handle the situation. It's the only way things can be looked at.
David Koresh.
Yeah.
It's the Waco shit all over
Yeah,
again.
pretty much the idea that, you know, this is the correct way. It's the only way because it's a black and white question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
This
there's
touches
no- I
on
don't care
like a
who you are.
lot of fucking like cult things, man. Like
Yeah.
Latter-day Saints and like Scientologists and all that shit. Like, holy
Yeah.
fuck. We don't normally get this deep on this show, but this is fun.
I mean, it's a new branch. We'll see how it turns out.
Okay, so who in this movie would be the Tom Cruise?
I'm gonna go with Chick's husband.
The cop,
Yeah, the
the
deputy.
deputy. Yeah,
deputy.
He was all right.
You know,
He tried his best.
He did
tried.
try his best.
He
They
tried.
do what they just should have done and fucking left when given the opportunity. Once again, the whole thing was telegraphed. Like 100%. They could have.
You know, you could have changed that whole ending just by like doing a U-turn and like turning around and going back down the
This
road,
movie would
going
have
back
been
home.
15 minutes long if they would have left.
I took the time to use Adobe Flash to give you an animated version of what I think is going to happen to you if you stay in this town. Here you go. They could have had that happen, and they would have been like, "No, this is the right thing to do."
We're
They could have.
gonna get on get now.
They could have pulled some Twilight shit and just had it been a vision in somebody's mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, God, talk about a shit way to end things.
Right?
Like commit or don't. That's incredible. Just like completely cock tease the entire audience. Like, 100%. You feel like a complete douchebags when you do that shit. Oh, it was all a dream. Well, thank you, fucking St. Elsewhere.
It's all a dream.
Kill some major fucking people there, and everybody's about to be like, "How are they gonna pull this out?" Oh, we're mad. Oh, I see. Fucking
Well,
dream.
what was that show in the 80s where it was just all in the mind of a
St. Elsewhere.
kid? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
It was actually it was a vision of an autistic kid holding a snow globe,
Yeah.
imagining what was happening in this hospital that for some odd reason was in a fucking snow globe. I don't know about you guys. I've never seen somebody put a hospital in a snow globe. Like you get a snow globe, it is a wonderful place to visit. It's fun. There's possibly a snowman. This was a fucking hospital. It was the most confusing thing. Like even like watching clips on YouTube, I see the part where it pans out and you got this kid like staring earnestly at his hospital. Cool. I'm not going to judge him for that. If that's his thing, that's his thing. Cool. But where did the fucking snow globe come from? Nobody made shit. So I get a little bitter about that one. It's a fucking movie. It's like I said, you commit or you don't. The only movie where it's okay if it was all a dream is fucking Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, I could. Okay, that's fair. But or some kind of like, yeah.
It's
Not
got to be
necessarily.
something like that. Inception, because
Inception.
it was.
Yeah, you don't know if it's a dream or not. But I'm still trying to figure it out. But yeah, this movie, like, it hits you in the core.
It does.
Yeah.
It gets
does.
into your mind because you know all this stuff. Like you're living through it. We're still living through it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, it's on the
Well,
news.
yeah.
what we've watched in the past weeks. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
Mm,
we're living it.
it's crazy. We shouldn't be, but we are.
Which
Yeah.
once again, you can call it topical right now, except it came out in 2015.
Right.
Yeah,
It's
that's what I'm saying.
foreshadowing.
Like how far this has gone back, even with now knowing his age, like
Yeah.
it's just been something that's on and on and on, and will continue to go on and on and on.
Yeah.
I described it to somebody as kind of like a prequel to The Handmaid's Tale.
Oh yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
Well, then again, so is life right now.
Yeah, we're leading up to that anyway. So it's just like, it's crazy just how real this movie is.
We didn't watch a horror movie. We watched a History Channel possible documentary.
Yeah.
I love documentaries. That's why I like this movie. I don't know. I liked this movie. I will probably watch it again, even though it's like crazy to say. I will probably watch it again. And when my kids are older, I'm going to be like, check this fucking movie out. Like, it pissed me off. Now you're going to be mad too, but we're going to watch it together.
I was
So
angry.
far,
Yes.
there's two horror movies I'll never watch. Just, again, I've seen them, but I'll never watch them again. One of them is this one, and the other one's Hereditary.
Mm.
Hereditary was a great movie, but like, oof. Oof.
I mean, obviously, it's not something we're talking about, but Hereditary.
Yeah.
As far as that movie goes, it hits every beat that it's supposed to hit. It's put together beautifully, like it's an art piece. Really, it's an
Yeah.
art house movie in the form of a horror film.
Yeah.
But especially, like the weird thing is how delicately the characters are treated until they're not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it is that movie. If you don't know what's coming, is a fucking sucker punch.
Well, you get the one scene that happens, then the aftermath of all that is where it gets really interesting, and like that's where I was just like, whoa, this movie's pretty fucking good. But I had to take some time and stop the movie and like watch a Pauly Shore movie or something to recover. And then
No,
the next day I finished it off, and I was just like, okay, it's not bad, I guess, but like, holy shit, I can never watch
horror
this
movies
movie
done that
again.
to you. They did well. Like
Yeah,
if you had to stop watching it, go chill out with something else for a second. Like they really
for a day.
hit the mark.
It was a day. I had to take a day.
Yeah, if you needed that much time to process, you did. Like if it was supposed to be disturbing, they definitely made it disturbing.
It fucked me up. It fucked me up pretty good. I'm not gonna lie.
I was thinking, you know what's weird? Cabin Fever. When I saw that in theaters,
I love that movie.
Eli Roth. Well, it's like I saw it in theaters, and even though, once again, this is one of those things you watch enough horror movies, you know it's coming before it hits.
Yeah.
Eli Roth also knew what was supposed to be coming, so he stopped it, like the beat in that movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a couple of jump scares, but the way, like the build, like the part of the chick shaving her legs, I mean, this is something that's been talked about on the internet for fucking decades.
Yeah.
Right.
That part, like, you know what's about to happen, but even then, it's still like, oh god.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I saw that in the theaters, and I actually had to look away. I knew what was happening. I knew what, like, the special effects were great, but I was like, no.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Didn't do that with this movie though. I was too angry about it.
I know. Yeah. No, this movie just pissed you off from beginning to end.
Yeah.
Like I said.
Yeah.
I could say it for days.
They call it like
Yeah.
a useless rage too, though. You can't do anything with it. Like there's nothing-
Right. You just want to beat the living shit out of somebody, but there's nobody to beat the shit out of.
It made me want to go volunteer at Planned Parenthood.
No, seriously. Dude.
Like,
We're talking about a movie they're making. Well, I'm not letting this happen in my USA.
in my USA.
You gotta take America back.
I was led to believe this was not possible. God.
I've been lied to.
How dare they? I can't believe this happened.
Those sons of bitches.
I would argue for some of us, like, I don't know, I'm 43 now, so growing up, I was old enough to experience Reagan's America and how everybody was just at their peak with how wonderful our country was and how much freedom there was. And we were constantly being bombarded by, like, people standing in bread lines in Russia. Incidentally, the footage we were seeing was from the 70s and 60s. And people, like, being in Cuba, how they weren't free, and like how, like, basically we were chronically bombarded with, this is where our country's great because look at all these other shitty countries.
Right.
Yeah.
This movie made me feel the exact same way about that now as everything. Like, this is not at all the country I was led to believe it was supposed to be.
Mhm.
This
Yeah.
movie is the same thing. Like, that is not something that should happen here, but that is something I can see happening.
Yeah,
Mhm.
for
That's
sure.
the sad truth, though. That's the
Yeah.
sad truth. Though. And that's what I've been telling people. Like, I say, watch it if you want to, but just warning you.
I mean, I think people should at least maybe give it a shot, but like
Yeah.
you're saying with Hereditary, if you get about halfway through and you know what's coming, there's no point in finishing it because you're right, that's what's coming.
Yeah.
Like if you don't want to watch it happen, then don't, just stop watching.
Well, with Hereditary, it was like the only thing I didn't really see coming was that middle part.
Oh really? I thought you were talking about the end part.
The end part didn't bother me at all. It was,
Really,
the
that was
middle.
part that killed me.
Shing.
It
That's
was
all the other,
the-
like,
it
the
was
second-
the lead up to that.
The middle part, like, I don't get me wrong, when it happened, it was a shock, but right after it happened, I thought about the earlier part of the movie, and I was like, oh wait,
Right. Yeah.
The clues were there.
yeah, like it makes I understood. It's like for when it
Oh,
happened,
looking back, yeah, I see what you're saying, but like, just I could never watch that movie again just because of that middle part.
I was,
I guess
Toni Collette and the way she pulled off the ending of that, the facial expression,
Ooh,
that whole part, I was just like,
that hit really close to home. But I'll just leave it at that. Like, holy shit,
right?
Yeah.
fuck. But like this, even this movie though, like, like not that I've experienced it myself, but I know enough people that have.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's just too real for
Yeah.
like. And I'll warn people, it's like, it's just very real. Like, watch it if you want to, but I'm not going to be with you.
I am a fan of movies that can be reality, so maybe that's part of the reason why I actually really liked this movie,
Yeah.
because I like those type of movies.
Normally I
just
do
thought it
too,
was-
but this is
You know what? It's like for me, it's a great story. And even if I'm not into what the director was trying to do, he pulled it off so well. Like the movie was
Yeah.
done in such a great way. Even if I'm not like the biggest fan of it, I will give it to them. They really nailed what they were trying to do.
Oh,
Yeah. Absolutely. They were trying to piss people off, and that's exactly
Yeah.
what they did.
Yeah.
They're trying to move something, make a movement of something, or a huge statement.
They
For
wanted
sure.
a reaction. They were getting a reaction, they got one.
Mhm.
And it was anger.
That's true.
Yeah,
So, retirement, that
pissed
movie-
everybody off.
that lunch.
Pissed me off, that's for sure.
That's what's good. And it shouldn't have been like, that's the weird part. Like, so it shouldn't have been able to, because once again, you've seen movies, you know where this is going. The end of it is in the title. We know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Why were we still so fucking angry about it?
Because of the way it was happening.
Yeah.
Had it been like a witch movie or something, no problem. I'd have been perfectly
I think
fine.
it's because you feel so helpless for what everyone's going through too. You know what I mean? Like you
Yeah.
actually want to do something about it.
Very true.
What happened anyways with the women's rights just added to my anger, because that's what was in my mind the whole time. I'm like, this shit is gonna be just like this. Like, oh, like that's what added to my anger.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just
Let's
like,
also say if it was an allegory for what could happen, and like, let's say that this is what happens when religious zealots get a hold of one town. Was it an allegory for what would happen if religious zealots got a hold of an entire country?
Yeah.
I mean, clearly it was, right? Like, once again, there was no part of this that was subtle. They weren't trying to imply or make it like, it was 100% like, hey, this is what we think is going to happen, and here's why.
Yeah.
You could argue with some of the, like, there's some parts of that where you're watching, you're so angry about what you're seeing. At the same time, if you stop and think, especially depending upon maybe where you were raised or where you live, you'll realize like, no, that happens. That fucking happens. That happens, and everybody feels like it's just the way shit is supposed to be.
Yeah.
I don't believe in any way, shape, or form that any of us are more enlightened, by the way. I don't think that's the case. I just think some of us apparently paid attention to fucking Sesame Street.
still don't know how to get there though.
No, notice in the song, no one ever said turn here.
Right.
Make a left in Mr. Rogers' neighborhood.
Mr. Rogers, seriously, I think that was low. There's also, okay, so comic books and horror movies, like I was saying, like one of the things that I love about horror movies is, generally speaking, they are fantasies in which anything you can imagine can be put down on a sheet of paper and turned into something real through practical or, computer effects. It will happen. There's no limit to what can occur. Something that I absolutely love. There was very little in the way of effects here. What was there was practicals. I mean, it was. I mean, even like there was the stuff that was there. I'm sure they blew their budget on like 2 scenes. The rest was all squibs. Like it was all just like a bag full of fake blood getting popped.
Yeah.
Like those 2 scenes. I'm guessing everybody is with me on which ones I'm referring to. One of them's in the title. The other one involves the psychopathic bitch that fucked everything up.
Yeah. But, yeah. So, She Who Must Burn. A movie that just fills you with rage from beginning to end.
If I was to give it a 1 to 10, I would honestly give it a 9 for what they were trying to do. It's very well done.
As far as execution.
Message, and just the fact that they had one camera, and didn't you say it was a single camera? Like,
because there was no every time, like, so if anybody's watching who doesn't know, so you have single camera setups, you have multiple camera setups. A single camera setup is legitimately, if you're watching a movie, and by the way, once you hear this, you'll never be able to not see it, so I apologize, but single camera setup is when you have only one piece of filming equipment in which every scene you're watching is taken from only one perspective. You'll notice that it's either 2 people in a shot or it's 2 people talking, like with this face and then this face and then this face and then this face and then maybe both. And that was all done with one guy going, okay, do your line. Remember, you're mad. Do your line. You're upset that she's mad. Do your line. All right, pull back. You're upset. You're mad. Go. Like it's a low budget way to do things.
Yeah.
I think it's also a very effective way to do things if you're trying to impart what we all believe this guy was trying to impart.
yeah.
Like it kind of makes it a more intimate situation. It's not like, there's no pull out 360 shot of a freeze frame of somebody dodging bullets right before somebody burns.
Right.
Although that probably might have improved a couple of scenes at least. We'd be like, oh, well, that was cool.
Yeah. But yeah, watch if you want to, but be warned, it's gonna make you mad.
Gonna make you mad.
No pressure.
No pressure.
You probably better off if you didn't.
Yeah, Personally, I would say don't. But don't let
That's the
me
movie
be
we
there.
watch. Don't watch it. We're talking about it though.
All you need to know is, yeah. But so yeah, this is the midnight matinee. We're gonna talk about some stuff that's not angry. It doesn't fill you with rage. In fact, I
Happy and complete.
think
I like being angry. I'm just kidding.
Hey, it's
Oh,
an
man.
incredible motivator to get some stuff done.
Yeah.
oof.
Maybe not well, and probably with shit slamming around and breaking. But the point of the matter is,
Hey, man, I call that life.
house, and you can't sit anywhere. The furniture's broken.
Gotta buy some new one.
But yeah, midnight matinee. We're gonna talk about a bunch of scary shit. This movie wasn't really scary. It just pissed you off. It was
Yeah.
horror. It was horror in the sense that it fucked with your mind, in a reality sense. Like,
It was scary on how angry we got.
It was very
yeah,
much.
it really was.
Well, like when you were younger and you like when Blair Witch came out, they advertised it as like this whole, oh my God, this documentary shit was found in the woods. And like at
Yeah.
the time that was almost unheard of, with the exception of like, you know, Cannibal Holocaust, or for that matter, help me out, Craig.
Cannibal Holocaust.
Thank you. You know what, James?
One of my favorite movies, man.
So there you go, though. But that's the whole thing. And that movie, though, only came out really in a couple of countries, but also on VHS, which is
It was banned in a lot of places for a long
was.
time.
Well, yeah, obviously it was, but that was, I mean, the effects were incredible, but there was also the fact that it was this whole idea that it was a real thing, which that leaves you.
The director got pulled into court
Yeah,
for-
he had to redo the
because they were saying he killed people on camera.
right.
That's how
Well,
realistic
also when
it
he
is.
had-
Right.
But it was just the whole thing, though, is that feeling that goes along with, oh my God, this actually happened. Like that feeling sort of pops up at the end of this
But
movie.
But
Yeah.
that shit
It
happens
happened,
too.
but man, you feel like it could.
It could. North Sentinel Island.
Yeah, but no, you feel like you've been following around like a camera crew, in all honesty.
Right.
Like,
Almost. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's why I love that movie.
Yeah.
It just feels like I'm there.
I felt like yelling at my screen the whole time I was watching it, which I know doesn't look pretty good, but it makes me feel better.
And I think
A couple times.
and one more thing before we wrap it up, but like there's one thing Eli Roth fucked up in my mind, and that was when he remade Cannibal Holocaust with the Green Inferno.
Green Inferno? Oh, I love Green Inferno.
I love it, but it wasn't shot in the same vein as Cannibal Holocaust.
No, it was done with a budget.
Yeah, but they should have done it like Cannibal Holocaust though.
Well, no, if he'd done it in the form of a documentary, I mean, but the thing is, the documentary thing, it would have died because everybody now knows that it was not an actual film thing. So,
Yeah, but like still, like neither is. I mean, there wasn't a zombie outbreak in 2012 or 2007, but Diary of the Dead is one of the greatest found footage films I've ever fucking seen.
I know, it's absolutely incredible. Did you ever see Survival of the Dead, by the way?
Don't don't defend it, please don't defend it.
Survival of the Dead, I love Survival of the Dead.
Oh man,
I thought it was great. I thought it was a perfect capper.
oh man, it could have ended so much better.
No, it could have ended better, but the idea that like there were these things walking the earth that were now surviving for no real reason, because they don't have to eat, but the fact that they were still doing it. So many of the other genres of zombie shit, like there's the Romero zombies and then there's everything else, but everything else is based off of the Romero zombies.
Yeah.
So like we tend to take, like you forget about it when you're watching like The Walking Dead or whatever. Like they eat somebody, they're not gaining power, they're not gaining strength, they're not gaining anything.
They're just eating.
Yeah, like shit's falling out of a rotted stomach.
Yeah.
But the Romero zombies, it was never clarified, just like you never clarified where they came from. So doesn't it make sense that eventually, as a semi-living organism, or whatever you want to call them, they would evolve to eat other shit? Like that was my take on it. I was like, no, this makes sense. That was a fitting cap.
I don't know. It's been a while since I've watched it, to be fair, but
By
how
the
do
way,
we?
nobody eats anybody in the other movie.
Yeah. True.
I don't
But,
think.
but yeah, we're getting way off topic here, but so yeah. Hey, final thoughts. She Who Must Burn. Let's just go around the horn.
What are we going, left or right?
It doesn't
Yeah, I think I
anybody
gave
can
my
say
thoughts
what
on it.
Yeah, Craig, Jason.
I think we all have. I mean, 100%. If we all agree, this is just something like it is the worst of all possible timelines laid bare on a screen for people to see. Like this is the possible outcome for religious zealots getting control in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
is it? Would it really come to that? There is so much of me that hopes that people are better than that, and I see that people are better than that in a lot of ways. It does happen. You see shit all the time where it's like, man, that's a good person, but the problem is it is so outnumbered by the shit where you're like, man,
Yeah.
that's a terrible fucking human being.
Yeah. You
It
see more
becomes
bad
hard
people
to-
than you see good.
Like if you, this is a very cynical take on how terrible shit could go.
Mhm.
It really highlights the negative aspects of religion. Like,
Yeah, that it definitely.
yeah.
Christ, I mean, like, wow. I mean, just
Yeah.
like, once again, the two you got. I mean, that. By the way, the dude that played the main creature, the son,
Mhm.
good actor. I don't know if I've ever seen him in anything else, but man, I wanted to fuck him up. And I knew, like I can separate. Like that's an actor doing a job.
Yeah.
This guy was like, man, if I went to Comic-Con and he was there, I'd hit him in the head. I wouldn't afterwards and be like, "You're a good actor. I'm sorry," but I would definitely hit it.
That's fair. Sunshine, how about you?
I mean, I liked it. I don't know. I did. Well, like I said, I really like movies that can really happen. The fact that I could kind of relate to it in a sense, and it pissed me off to the point where I'm like, what the fuck do I need to do to help not let shit get this far?
Yeah.
I don't know. I really liked it. It highlighted quite a bit of topics that don't get talked about a lot. And that's what I liked about it too.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't get talked about a lot because it is too real. Like
Yeah.
nobody's brave enough to really touch on it.
Yeah.
Like
I'll talk about it. I don't care. Like, I shared my experience earlier. I have no problem talking about that stuff. And I think it should be talked about
It should
openly.
be. Absolutely. It's just I think this is like the first movie I can think of that's like that real.
Yeah.
Like hits that hard.
Yeah, I can't think of much else that like.
No, I don't. I can't think of much else more real than that.
Once again, it
And
comes out, like what you were just saying, like it takes
short of a documentary.
short of a documentary, right? Like
Yeah.
short of like your Zach. Oh, I don't know.
Because I know like, oh fuck. Some like there's certain movies like that have documentaries that came out alongside them, and you're like, I've been like, wait, which one am I watching? But this one I would have a very hard time.
Yeah.
I chalked it up to a Jonestown movie I watched one time that was very, very real. You know what I mean? I can't remember the name of it, but
I think I
Jonestown-
know. I think I know the one you're talking about.
it was based on Jonestown.
Yeah.
I know the one that you're talking about too, and for the love of God, I cannot remember the name.
I
of the
can't
movie.
remember it. It was on Netflix. Yeah,
I believe that's where I saw it too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I cannot remember the name of it.
Hold on, I can see it.
But you watch that movie alongside a Jonestown documentary, and you have a hard time differentiating.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, you watch the Jonestown documentary. Period. Anything that happened there from the rise and the fall of Jim Jones onwards, like it.
Yeah.
That'll.
What was
kill
the same when Netflix did the Waco documentary? When they did the Waco movie, you couldn't tell that it wasn't a
yeah.
documentary.
Yeah,
You could not tell, like the way they did that and the way they planned it out.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever see a movie called The Believer?
Yeah.
The skinhead.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
Yeah,
think
the
so.
Yeah.
That's based. Y'all know that's a true story, right? Like this is a real thing that happened.
Mhm.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. All right. So James, if you ever get bored, you want to be really angry and depressed.
I don't.
But that's I
I
like.
don't.
That's a natural emotion. Anger and depression will definitely pull you out of that.
Yeah.
The Believer was based on an actual story. It was during the 80s. Was it the 80s or the 90s?
I think it was the 80s.
It was the 80s, right? Okay, so there was a Jewish kid who literally shaved his head got involved with a bunch of neo-Nazis and became an actual leader in their movement.
Whoa.
But he did it not because he was trying to infiltrate, not because he was trying to fix anything, but because he believed they were correct. Yeah, no, it's
I remember now.
yeah, and it's he ends up like the story is actually based on a New York Times reporter who found him, knew his past, and interviewed him and brought it up. And like he ended up blowing up a synagogue while he was in it. Like this was a period where this actually occurred.
Yeah.
That's
And,
wild.
well, it's like that's the type of thing you would think that you'd be taught, not through the form of a movie, but through something that actually happened. Like that's a
Yeah.
shit. Why isn't that news you'd be taught?
Yeah.
This is, by the
Right.
way, not a way to get off on the whole like what should and should not be news, but it is like as far as movies that piss you off or upset you for the next time you're bored. The Bleep.
But I don't
Next time
want
you're
to
bored.
be.
If you want a
No.
movie that'll just make you laugh, look up Slither.
Yeah.
No. No. You look up the movie that's next. You look up the movie that's next on our list.
Oh yeah, no, that one will do it too. That one will make you very
Yeah.
happy.
So thank you for joining us for the Midnight Matinee. We're getting way off the rails again. That's what we do here. But yeah.
Yeah.
But She Who
Ain't
Must
no different
Burn.
from nothing else.
She Who Must Burn. Not a terrible movie, but it does piss you off. It does what it's supposed to. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
But join us next time when we talk about Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Just like every thumb up here should be going up because that is a great movie.
It's a fantastic movie. But Sunshine, we look forward to having you on more.
I'm excited. Thank you guys.
It's going to be a fun time. Craig, Jason,